From Tally to Cali,
It's time
to wake up.
Wake up! Wake up!
Warchant.com is your ultimate Seminole sports source.
And this is Wake Up Warchant, presented by Corner Pocket Bar and Grill.
One more corner pocket.
Now here's Warchant.com's Aslan Hutchavandi.
And Corey Clark.
Oh my God, we're back again.
Wake up! What is up, everybody? It's Wake Up Warchant, presented by the Corner Pocket Bar and Grill, Tallahassee, Florida. CPTallybar.com is the website. Check it out. Coming up on today's show, Corey and myself, we are in Orlando together in the same room, celebrating what's pretty cool with Florida State right now. They're in a bowl game. They're getting guys out of the portal. They're doing big-time things. Wake Up Warchant, presented by the Corner Pocket Bar and Grill, Tallahassee, Florida. Again, CPTallybar.com is the website. I think on Wednesdays we have pressed ham and Swiss, I think, on Wednesdays.
That seems right. That seems right. But today would be Tuesday, right?
It would be, because it's Monday night for the Tuesday program. So it's Taco
Tuesday. There you go.
This is what, like, is this the most amount of trivias you've missed consecutively?
It's pretty rough. It's been at least three in a row, I think. 3 or 4 in a row. I'm not excited about it. But, folks, you can get there. Yeah. You can get there and play as much trivia as you want. You actually have a chance to win, since Stephanie and I aren't there. So good luck. Good luck, and go win.
Hit the thumbs up if you're listening to us on YouTube, which, by the way, we're going to put it all together. You'll hear Tom Lang and Corey Clark breaking down the Braden Fiske. Did you guys go with Fiske or Fiske?
Fiske. Is it Fiske?
I don't know. I thought it was Fiske. Langston said Fiske, but, you know.
It could be. He talked to him. He would probably know.
But that was like days ago before he committed. So, but the Noles doing Nole things. I guess let's start there, Corey, even though we'll have you and Tom talking about it towards the end of it. But, you know, we're here in Orlando now. All of us, Ira's here.
In your hotel room. This is pretty sweet.
Yeah, it'll be you'll be part of this process.
When was the last time we were in person doing one of these? Was it driving into New Orleans?
Yeah.
And that worked out well.
It's fantastic.
That worked out well.
Fantastic.
Big Dub started a renaissance season, you could say.
Against another Power 5 program. It's not an SEC team, but we'll talk about the Oklahoma Sooners because we talked to them on Monday. Tuesday will be a little bit less of a newsy kind of day, right? I think this morning they'll be doing some sort of charity, give back to the community thing. But I guess let's start there with, I mean, man, you know, I'll be honest, everybody, in the spirit of full disclosure, we're recording this on Monday night. Your guys had a couple adult beverages in the hospitality suite, so a little bit loosey-goosey or whatever. If you steal a little jargon from the Jeff Cameron Show, which, by the way, Jeff Cameron Show live Wednesday, 1 to 3 o'clock at the Harry Buffalo, not the Harry Buffalo, but Harry Buffalo, Church Street, downtown, then a meet and greet, 4 o'clock, or meet and greet?
It's 3 o'clock, 3 to 4.
Okay.
3 to 4. So only an hour, guys. You get an hour with us. You get an hour with the Warchant staff, and then don't talk or look at us for the rest of the time, because Jake Owen's going to be there.
Yeah.
Like, it's going to be like a real block party for Florida State fans, and Jake Owen, a Florida State grad, one of the more famous ones of all time, I think, will be playing an acoustic set later that night. Yeah, man, they're doing it up. Seminole Boosters in Orlando, man, they don't mess around. Big time. And we're the opening act. So Jeff and Tom starting at 1 at Harry Buffalo, and then I guess meeting us at 3 to 4.
Heck yeah. So I forgot to bring the pillar, though.
Ooh, that's fine. They know who they are.
Sorry, buddy. All right. So what is defective? And I'm trying to think, is there something defective in every other coach in the country? Or, I mean, Mike Norvell has carte blanche in this transfer portal. It's amazing.
It's crazy
who they're getting. I mean, we're talking the number 10 overall prospect in Jaheim Bell, Jeremiah Byers from UTEP, number 7 overall prospect, Braden Fiske. We'll go with Fiske for right now, Braden. Shout out if you're listening. We'll correct it if we're wrong on it. I mean, he was the number 1 interior defensive lineman.
Number 1 defensive lineman, period. Number 6 overall player.
Notre Dame, I think, wanted him.
Yeah.
Southern Cal wanted him. But Florida State strikes and wins again. Just, dude, again, we're going to keep talking about this, and it's a moving kind of target in terms of like the formula, the mix of high school elite blue chip guys and guys you're bringing in from the transfer portal. But man, from where you are you've got one more year with Jordan Travis. To build around him and bring these pieces in that are ready-made, that have got really high PFF numbers, that are highly sought after, man, it's got to feel really good if you're a Florida State fan right now to see them seizing this kind of momentum and the promise of what next year can be. I know there's a big bowl game we're all excited about, but I can't help but think of next year at this point. Man.
Yeah, I think everybody's with you. Everybody listen to this anyway. Like it'd be great to win the game Thursday. Go ahead and close it out with a win. That's awesome. But what you have done the last 2 weeks for next year's team. Stephanie's here, by the way. Stephanie made it to the hotel room. There she is, with my Mick Ultra. It's all happening. It's
you can't, hey, kids, you can't drink all day unless you start in the morning.
That's right. So that's right. So I think, thank you. I think that they went into this offseason with, what would you say, Aslan, like 4 positions where they're like, we got some holes to fill. Right. Not maybe huge holes necessarily. Like, I think the offensive line would have been serviceable to pretty decent if they hadn't gotten anyone. Well, they went and got like the second best offensive tackle in the portal. And then he's going to play guard. Byers will probably play guard.
So,
but the second best offensive lineman in the portal, the number 7 overall player. Yeah. And now you've gotten we don't know what Fabian Levitt's doing, but even if he does come back, well, Robert Cooper's not coming back. Jackson's, I don't know, where'd he sign? Michigan State. Jackson, but man, he's third school. Good luck, buddy. So he's not there. So you had a hole at the defensive tackle, even if Fabian Levitt comes back. You just happen to go get the best guy in the country. And you also got the 2 of the 3 best tight ends in the country, which we all knew you had a hole. And so when you think about recruiting rankings and the difference between the portal and high school kids, imagine how excited you guys would be listening to this show if we told you Florida State had 3 of the top 10 high school players in the United States that had committed.
That's a top 5 class.
No matter what you get else. That's what Alabama does. Mm-hmm. And you just got 3 of the top 10 players in the United States, and you know what they can do.
Yes.
There's no chance of them being a bust because you know who they are already. That's what's so cool about the portal, again, to go back to that. And when you think about next year's team, you know you're going to have one of the best offenses in the country. Well, now you've got 2 defensive tackles that you like, the Miami kid and then Fiske. We'll see. We'll ask them at some point, I guess. I'm going to go with Fiske for now, right? I think I'm going to go with Fiske. But you got him, and this guy's a monster. Like
Notre Dame, Marcus Freeman, highly regarded head football coach, defensive-minded guy. Southern Cal's got all the NIL they want. They know they got to fix their defense. Like, they wanted that guy. And he's from Indiana. Yeah. And you got him.
And so what's cool about the portal, though, is in recruiting rankings these days, they get better and better. Like On Three's high school recruiting rankings, Rivals, 247, Scout, if that was still a thing. They're getting better and better as we're in 2022. But they're still not as accurate, I don't think, is the portal rankings. Right. I think as we go through it, we're going to see what portal rankings are, and they're going to be spot on. Like, they all knew about Jared Verse. Jared Verse was the number 9 player in the portal last year. And by the way, think how good Jared Verse is as the number 9 player in the portal. Well, you just got 2 guys that are ranked higher than him coming in for next year. So my point being that it's a lot easier to predict the portal guys because you've gotten to see them against grown men. You've gotten to see them 2 or 3 years as college football players. This guy has been a star at Western Michigan. He had 12 tackles for loss and 6 sacks as a defensive tackle.
48 pressures this past season.
That's crazy. So you might have gotten yourself an NFL dude just in the portal. You just might have gotten yourself an NFL dude in the portal at a position of great need. And so you start thinking about, and we don't know yet, but say Fabian and Jared decide, let's run it back one more year. I mean, man, do you have a national championship contender? I mean, legitimately. Yeah. And you're still in on the number 1 quarterback. Sorry, number 2, because Travis Hunter's number 1. The number 2 quarterback in the country.
Number 1 available, though, right?
Correct, yes, the best available. That's what's so, and nobody's like dead set of him not like there's a chance he comes to Florida State. You might get 4 of the top 10. You already got 3 of the top 10 transfer portal players in the United States. You have a chance at number 4, and you're probably not done there either. It's just, you're right, man. I don't know how they're doing it necessarily, but I do know it's a really smart ploy. Yeah, man. Because they have a good team coming back already. They've had Trey Benson, Jordan Travis, all those guys say they're coming back, and now you're adding NFL pieces to a team that was already pretty darn good, and now you go into next season with some real expectations, I think.
I mean, they're 6th right now in the On3 transfer portal. I think some other sites have them a little bit higher. But
I think, some of them have number 1.
Yeah.
When you look at the On3 portal rankings, the way they do it is
they factor in what you're losing as well.
But they also factor in the numbers, sheer numbers of it.
Okay.
So if you look at the average, look at the average of Florida State. What is their average, Aslan?
87.38.
Okay, what is the number one's average?
68.
That's what I'm saying, and that's the players.
Yes.
So the average player that Florida State is getting in the portal is an 87.8.
A B plus.
Yes, a high B.
Yeah.
The number one team is in the 60s, but they have a lot more because it's unlimited.
17 or 18. Kenny and Arizona State are number one. They've got 18 players in total. Florida State has 8, and they're 6th.
Right, but if you did the star average, Florida State's number one, and it's not close, man.
No.
They've got basically when you. I would say the kid from Shorter, Morlock, the tight end, he's probably a 5-star too if I was doing my own rankings.
Oh, wow, really?
Well, I mean, you got the number 3 tight. Let's say he's a high 4-star. But because they don't give, none of these sites give these portal guys 5 stars.
They don't
they don't do it like that necessarily, but I think all these guys, if you were re-ranking them, 5-star, 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 high 4-star. And the Miami kid is a 4-star. Man, this is a monster class already. For a team that has some holes, but they don't have as many holes as Kenny at Arizona State or Dion at Colorado. Yeah. They don't have that many holes to fill, but they are filling them with gold.
If you're not Nick or Kirby, why are you not doing what Mike Norvell is doing? And I'm celebrating. I'm thankful for the fact that he is, but Dabo still refuses to use the portal. He'll pick up a portal piece to help him get a job in Alabama. He won't grab a guy in the portal to help Clemson, though. He grabbed Bear Bryant's grandson, who's on his 3rd Division I school. You're telling me he couldn't use these? I can't wrap my head around this. Mike Norvell has to wake up some days, I think, and think, why is no one else really fighting me tooth and nail for all these guys? I know Jeremiah Byers was highly sought after, and obviously
this kid was too.
Southern Cal and Notre Dame wanted him, but
I don't think it's as easy as you're kind of making it out. They're after him.
Making it look easy though.
We just talked about it. Arizona State's got 18 guys. Colorado's got more than that. Michigan State's got
14. Michigan State's got 13, including Jarrett Jackson, as you mentioned.
So there's all the schools other than Dabo know it's important. Georgia and Alabama don't need it as much because their portal guys are just freshmen that get bigger and better, like the 5-star kids that finally get to play. Those are their portal guys. But for everyone else, they need the portal. It's just they're not doing it as well as Norvell. And I think a lot of it is Jermaine Johnson and Jared Verse. You see what those guys, Jamie Robinson. Jordan Travis is a transfer. Now, he wasn't a portal guy, but he's a transfer. Trey Benson, Johnny Wilson. The proof is in the pudding, as I like to say. What does that mean, by the way? When you really think about the proof is in the pudding, where did that come from?
It's right there.
That's not what it is.
Consume it.
It looks good, but you have to taste it to see. And people are tasting pudding?
I was a tapioca kid for a little bit, and then I was like, this is disgusting. How come I like this?
Man, I haven't had pudding in 35 years probably.
Right.
Not since I used to be a huge fan of Bill Cosby. Yeah. I love the pudding pops, but I assume they still make those. But yeah, the proof is in what they've done with these portal guys already. And you could make an argument, a very good one, probably. You're accurate. Considering what Florida State was when he took over, nobody has done a better job in the United States in the portal.
Not even close.
And so you get a guy from Western Michigan. And also what I like that he's doing, man, I was thinking about this today. The biggest stars that he's gotten, other than Jermaine Johnson at Georgia, but who was a second stringer and wanted to shine somewhere. He gets a kid from UTEP that wants to go play big boy football, an NFL guy. So you're not getting a disgruntled Alabama backup. You're not getting an Alabama backup or somebody that had a run-in, the kid with all those kids with A&M. That just
Denver Harris.
You're not getting those guys. You're getting guys that probably are leaving in good standing with where they are. They just played above what they've outgrown. They've outgrown the schools they were at. Like Jared Verse, I don't know there's any ill will at Albany for Jared Verse. So you're getting guys, I guess my point is that they don't feel like they were, they're not disgruntled. And they're still hungry. Like this kid, yeah, you were great at UTEP. That's awesome. You still haven't proven it at this level. You're not getting guys like Kentucky's getting Devin Leary, and this is a bad example because quarterback's completely different. But Devin Leary's already proven what he is.
Yeah.
He's not going to be a player of that ilk. Isn't going to be, in my opinion, as hungry as a guy from Western Michigan or a guy from UTEP. You are getting potential star or a guy from Shorter College. Mm-hmm. You're getting potential stars that haven't proven it yet. So they're still really hungry. Jared Verse, there's nobody hungrier than that dude. No. and he came from Albany, where so it's not like they feel like they've proven anything yet, right? Isn't that the perfect? It's not a guy that like you're not getting a guy from, and Jermaine Johnson's not a great example, obviously, because he was such a humble, team first kind of guy. But imagine getting a former 5-star from Georgia or A&M that just wasn't getting the playing time he wanted, so he wanted to go somewhere else. But he still probably feels entitled. Man, when you come from UTEP and Western Michigan and Albany and Shorter College, you do not feel entitled. Right. You still have to go prove something.
Thankful.
You haven't proven anything. Yeah, you get to play big boy football finally. So that's to me a perfect recipe for what they're doing. You are not just getting big names. You are getting guys that still have something to prove, even though they're highly ranked in the portal.
And what's cool too is, we spoke to, Alex Atkins and Mike Norvell on Monday, a whole slew of people. All of it's on our YouTube channel. Check it out. And, Tatum Bethune talked about it. Jamie Robinson talked about it. We've talked about it a little bit more on the podcast, I think, recently. But I kind of would snicker a little bit the whole fit and family thing when Mike Norvell would talk about going after a certain guy. But man, he really has brought in guys. And I think Jordan might even have said it too, where like he told the guys, like, I'm going to bring guys in here to make the team better, but they're going to fit in. They're going to feel natural and like part of what we're doing. And I guess that kind of goes to your point about these guys still being hungry and focused and like, they want to get to the NFL, but like they see what he's done with guys that's helped them get to the NFL and helped them get their stock better. But they've also come to Florida State, guys like Jermaine Johnson, and really bought in and helped out this team and this program more so than themselves. It speaks to the fact that so many of them are going to play in the bowl game.
Yeah.
They're not opting out. It's incredible that like he is getting high caliber football players, but also like dudes that want to, sell out for this team and this program and make them better. And we'll see just how bought in these guys are. I really think they will be, but with the way he's brought in, Johnny Wilson and Micah Pittman and Demetri Emanuel and Dylan Gibbons and Trey Benson, the list goes on and on. It's just like, man, like, I don't know, like he has his formula, man, and it's crazy how everything just keeps coming up roses for him recently.
I think maybe it's just the nature of the portal, but I do think when you look at the guys they brought in this past year, Johnny Wilson was unproven. He hadn't proven anything. So how could he be entitled? He should be a team first guy. Micah Pittman, same way. Trey Benson had 6 carries in his career. So in hindsight, it's like, yeah, of course you wanted Trey Benson with that speed and size, but I mean he wasn't
coming off a major.
And when he committed to Florida State, it wasn't like the national media went nuts. He wasn't ranked in the top 50 or top 100 of incoming transfers, but they obviously saw something they liked, but also they do have the right attitude. And I think as Florida State gets better, that's going to be interesting to me, because you are going to get guys that started at big schools that want to come play for you. And how do you manage that? Because, say there was a guy that started at Florida and then just didn't like it for some reason and left. Well, why did he leave? What kind of player are you getting that would leave his team like that was getting playing time? Right now, Florida State's in that sweet spot where they're getting guys that haven't been able to prove themselves at the Power 5 level, are guys that aren't in the Power 5 but have proven themselves. You know what I mean? Right. It's a pretty cool sweet spot to be in. So it's going to be interesting as this program continues to develop what the portal situation becomes. But right now, man, I just think it's a perfect situation for them. They get to sell Florida State. They get to sell that culture. They get to sell a winning season, perhaps a 10-win season, getting to the NFL, and also, you can come make a name for yourself here, and that's it's a cool place to be, man. It's that was a good Christmas present for Florida State and for Norvell for sure. But man, that they're not done. But getting a defensive lineman, a quality guy like this, a real dude like this, to go along with the guys that you do like, the young guys like Lyons and my man, give me his name, Aslan. The freshman that's he's redshirting academically.
Oh, Ayo Tafasi. Ayobami Tafasi.
Tafasi might be a real dude.
Yes.
I think Daniel Lyons will be a guy. They get to learn from this dude. They might get to learn from Fabian Lovett for another year. It's a really nice roster they're putting together, clearly. And I think Florida State fans are really excited. I wrote that column for Christmas, just about because we talked about we were going to do like a Christmas wish list. Yeah. And I'm like, man, I was thinking about it. I'm like, man, The wish has been granted. Like, we get to talk about a good football team again, man. That's fun. And so I wasn't down here for the press conferences, but Aslan and Ira were, and we got the Oklahoma people too, or you guys got the Oklahoma guys too. And Ira carries the normal press conferences.
He's the managing editor of Oklahoma's websites. All your base belong to us.
So apparently all the Oklahoma media couldn't be in town on Monday because of travel issues, getting out of that fair state. So Ira was literally you and Ira were the only two asking questions, right?
Pretty much. Yeah.
So Ira was asking like Oklahoma-specific questions to the Oklahoma players. Yeah. And, what's it like to play for Brent Venables and all that, just to help out the Oklahoma media that couldn't be there. Yeah. Because otherwise it would have been dead silence for 5 minutes and then on to the next player. But anyway, as you guys were talking to those guys, it was pretty... The linebacker, and I can't remember his name, it escapes me right now.
Ethan Downs.
No, he was the defensive end.
Oh.
The linebacker.
Deshaun something, his
White,
last name escapes
Deshaun
me.
White, I think.
Okay.
But he said that, they played some really good offenses. They played TCU, they played Texas Tech. He's like, yeah, we've seen some good offenses and some good quarterbacks, but nothing exactly like this. Because they got players everywhere. They got playmakers everywhere. And then, the Ethan Downs, who is the defensive end, said, yeah, he's probably the most talented quarterback we've seen. And they faced the Heisman finalist because he can run sideline to sideline. He throws the ball well. He runs the read really well. He does he reads the run really well. It's cool to hear other people say the same things that Mike Norvell says about Jordan Travis, because he really and Ted Roof, who's the defensive coordinator there, which I didn't realize. That's crazy, that guy. But he said, look,
Silver Fox.
He looks good, doesn't he, for his age? He said that he's one of the best players in the United States, and he's not wrong.
I like how he said that they lead the free world in third down conversions.
Yeah, that was funny.
It's winning season over at MyBookie.ag. It's also bowl season. Go over to MyBookie.ag. Use the promo code WARCHANT on your first deposit. You can receive a cash bonus of up to $200. You can get in and get out with your deposits and your winnings as soon as possible, because that's what MyBookie does, hooks up the winners. There's also all sorts of cash bonuses and odds boosts available at MyBookie.ag this season when you use the promo code WARCHANT. A couple games. There's a lot of games going on today, Corbin. We'll pick out... There's 4. Let's do 2 of them. Memphis and Utah State. Utah State catching 7 from Mike Norvell's former previous institution. I'll take the 7 points, and I'll take the Aggies of Utah State.
I agree with you.
Okay, I like that. And then Wisconsin taking on Oklahoma State.
Ooh.
No Spencer Sanders, I don't think, for the Cowboys. Wisconsin's quarterback is Florida-bound. Graham Mertz, although he lost his job. I don't even know who Wisconsin's quarterback is, but they're giving 3.5
is that really
to the
Florida?
Pokes.
Is that going to be Florida's guy, or are we waiting for the Hartman?
Awesome.
Are we waiting for Hartman to decide?
No, it's all right. We'll be all right.
All right.
Hartman maybe to Notre Dame?
Ooh, is that the rule?
I don't know.
I would. So what's the spread? I didn't hear the spread.
Wisconsin 3.5. They're favored by. Give me the Pokes. Give me Gundy and the Pokes.
I think I'm going to take Wisconsin. I think they'll run the ball. I don't think Oklahoma State wants to play because it's a bowl game. It's not fun to play against Wisconsin, so I think Wisconsin.
It's in Phoenix, though. It's going to be a nice.
I just think Wisconsin's going to run on them.
Okay, very well. What do you guys think? Go pick your winners over at MyBookie.ag. Use the promo code WARCHANT. I don't want to lie to the people. I don't want to deprive them of Tom Lang, but I don't even know if we need to have. We'll have you and Tom talking about later on about Fiske. We'll get Tom's insight on it too. But I did want to talk a little bit about just some of the stuff from the press conference. I know you sifted through a lot of it and wrote some stuff for warchant.com. Shout out Corey Clark, senior writer, lead writer for warchant.com.
Both senior and lead.
Ira and I talked about on the little rap video that we not the rap video, but rap with an R with a W.
Seminole
everybody.
rap video.
Yeah, not that rap. But I think Oklahoma kind of knows what's coming, and they really can't do a lot about it. I think it's gonna be kind of fun for Florida State. Did you get any sense listening to some of the interviews that, not that Oklahoma's defeated, but they got 4 important guys, 2 starting tackles, a leading running back with 1,300 yards, and a pass rusher that are not going to play in the game. Meanwhile, Florida State is absolutely chomping at the bit, licking their chops to get this opportunity. That everything's lining up really well. Again, off the field for Florida State. We talked about the first half of the show, and probably even on the field now when it comes Thursday when the game rolls around.
Yeah, I got that impression. Just the way they fawned over Florida State's offense. And look, man, they haven't stopped anyone. They're 122nd in the country in total defense.
Yikes.
They're 99th in scoring defense, and they're facing maybe the best offense they've seen all season. So it should bode well for Florida State, but it's been a month off. There is rust, and you never know how a bowl game's going to go and the turnover luck and all that. But if things go according to plan or script, Florida State should win. Florida State should put up 40 easily, and then you got to assume if you're putting up 40 points, you're probably going to win. You don't know, I guess, because they do have a skilled offense, and Gabriel is a good quarterback. But their defense is horrific.
122nd in yards allowed, 453.
Yeah.
99th in points allowed, 29.6.
All right, yeah, I got that. So I was right.
Yeah.
You're just confirming.
Yeah, sorry.
There you go. Nice.
Just to be able to think that Corey just pulls stuff out of man. Corey reads. Corey knows the stuff.
Sometimes.
Corey researches.
Sometimes I do some stuff. I think they know they're not a good defense. They haven't been a good defense all year. Why would that change? And they're playing the best offense they've seen all year, perhaps. And Florida State is probably playing the worst defense they've seen. I don't know if anybody on their schedule is worse than 122. Now they do play in the Big 12, so that does curve it a little because there are a lot of really good offenses in the Big 12, as opposed to the ACC. The Big 12 doesn't have a ton of Syracuses and Boston colleges, but yeah, man, Florida State should put up 40 points in this game unless they just play horribly or turn the ball over a lot. And, going into next season, does it matter as far as how next season goes, how they do in this game? No, not at all. But just the perception, man. Yeah. Getting to 10 wins would be great. It'd just be a really big feather in the cap of this team. And then what it would do and it shouldn't be this way because it's an exhibition game. It shouldn't matter, but it will matter how people perceive your program if you finish with a 6-6 Oklahoma team or beat the brakes off them to finish 10-3 and finish out with 6 straight wins. You go into next season as one of the hottest teams in the country. You would have probably the second longest winning streak in the country or close to it, top 5 longest winning streak in the country going into next year. And that just gives a lot more juice, or a little more juice, I should say, to the LSU game. Yeah. But yeah, I think there's a chance. If it doesn't go well for Oklahoma early,
yes,
it could get away from them very quickly.
Well said. Couldn't say. I mean, obviously getting off to a quick start is in every coach and team's, repertoire checklist, if you will, but especially in this game, it feels like if Oklahoma's offense, Florida State's defense gets off the field quickly, first couple reps or first couple possessions, and Florida State's offense does what we think it's going to do, it's going to be a real romp for the Noles, if you will. Man, I don't know if you listened to Jamie Robinson's interview. Everybody check out Jamie Robinson's interview. I mean, Jamie Robinson talking about, they said their offense is kind of like a 7-on-7 team.
Ooh.
They like to throw the ball a lot.
Yeah.
But then also said, we know they want to throw the ball, but they won't be able to throw the ball on us, and we know they can't run on us.
Okay.
So, and it doesn't feel like braggadocious, overconfidence either. I feel, and Ted Roof talked about, Jeff Levy talked about how confident they look on defense right now, and I just think it's going to carry over, man. I think we're just seeing, and Ira's going to have a story up on the website just about how far this defense has come along, and not even just the defense in particular, but everything is just clicking for this team right now. It's just hard to imagine that anything that they're doing, they're going to get over their skis at this point right now with the way they're talking or the way they feel about themselves right now.
I just feel like either way, man, what a good December. I mean, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
You went in the portal and you needed some guys, and you got some of the best guys in the country to add to a team that's was already going to be good. It's just, it's good to be back at this place. It's good to be back here knowing that I'm covering a team that has a chance to win meaningful things, and knowing that I'm covering a team that you guys are excited about, that you have real expectations for going into next season. Not pie in the sky. Let's dream for a 7 or 8 win season. Literally, you go into next season hoping or expecting 10 wins, maybe more, maybe a championship. There's still some pieces out there that they could make this a championship team, man. They aren't going to have, no matter what happens the next month in the portal, they're not going to have 6 first-round picks on their team or anything, but they will have a bunch of really good college football players. And that with an electric quarterback and a dynamic quarterback and a good offensive line, and perhaps if Fabian Lovett comes back and if Jared Verse comes back, and again, we don't know, but that might be pie in the sky thinking, but they haven't announced anything yet. If they come back, you're going to have a better defense than you had this year, and you're going to have a better offense than you had this year, and you're pretty darn close this year to being a 10 or 11 win team, maybe a 12 win team if you count the bowl game. So I'm excited to watch them one last time. I'm just excited for the bowl game because I get to see this team one last time. It has been a real joy. Maybe it's the Mick Ultra talking, Aslan. I don't know. It's late. It's late on Monday night. I'm in this romantic city of Orlando in your hotel room, just thinking, I don't know. The mind starts wandering when I'm laying on Aslan's bed talking. Shut up, babe. Hey, don't interrupt the podcast. But I'm thankful, man. This has been a fun season because we were in the darkness.
Golly,
a lot of lonely nights.
For 4 years, what did we do?
Just in the wilderness.
We tried,
despair.
everybody. Yeah.
I mean, we had months talking about COVID restrictions. That was the whole show for 3 months.
I'm like, there's no way they're going to get through a season. I mean, these guys going to sneeze on that guy and everything's over.
I mean, but that wasn't that long ago, man. And then Shreveport wasn't that long ago. Jacksonville State was less than 16 months ago. Yeah. And now here we are in beautiful Orlando.
Think about ACC championship in 10 months from now.
It's not outlandish to say ACC championship. They have landed enough good players that you're talking about. They might be the most talented team in the conference next year. They got a couple more guys they can still go get. I think if they land the Cypress kid, and if one or two guys from this current team decide to come back, you were talking about probably the best roster in the ACC. Maybe not the most NFL picks, but the best college football roster in the ACC, and probably one of the best in the United States. That's cool, man, right? Here we are. Merry Christmas.
Who'd have thought, right?
I didn't know it was ever going to happen again, man. After Jacksonville State, I wrote this in the column. It's like, it's never going to happen again, man. This is just my life, is watching a team struggling to get to 2 or 3 wins a year, or 6 wins. Yeah. I never would have thought the next year it would have gotten to this point where they have a chance at 10 wins, really should already be at 10 wins. Yeah. They blew a game, beat the tar out of Miami, but then also going into next year looking at it with a Heisman candidate and a team that will probably start this season top 10 in the country. That's awesome. It's really cool. It's really cool to be able to watch this.
Yeah. All right, one last break. Tom Lang and Corey talking about Braden Fiske. Sorry, Braden.
Fisk dog.
And then we'll have a whole show for you tomorrow and the day after that and the day after that too. So.
Oh, all right.
Yeah, man.
Say it from your hotel room again?
Maybe with the hospitality room. Maybe we'll go to the pool. We'll hang out at the pool.
Ooh, now we're talking. Shirtless?
That's going to be cold still, though, man.
It gets the nips hard.
All right, that's a wrap. Take a break. We'll be right back. Last segment coming up.
And the gift that keeps on giving is the transfer portal. Alongside the senior writer, the lead writer for warchant.com, Corey Clark. My name is Tom Lang. Florida State, as you can see at the bottom of the screen, there it is. Defensive tackle Braden Fiske from Western Michigan, Corey. Yet another trench monster added to the list for FSU. Another guy that can play pretty much right away.
Yeah, and look, this was a big need, right? I mean, we go into this next season still not knowing where Fabian Lovett will be in 2023, knowing where Robert Cooper will be, which will not be in Tallahassee. I guess we don't know where he'll be. We know where he won't be, which is in Tallahassee. And quite frankly, a lot of the backups and the guys that have played a lot this year haven't proven to be elite, and we don't know if they're getting there. We like Josh Farmer. We don't know what he's going to be. Malcolm Ray, guys like that. Jarrett Jackson's already left the program and on somewhere else. So they had a hole. They don't have nearly as many as they have had in recent years, but the defensive line is a big one. And literally, according to the On3 rankings, Tom, they just got the best defensive lineman on the market. Legitimately. Yep. He's the number 6 overall player, and he's the number 1 defensive lineman. So now if you're keeping track, at least with On3's rankings, which is all you should really care about, Florida State has the number 6 player in the portal, the number 7 player in the portal, and the number 10 player in the portal. I mean, that's cleaning up. That's a pretty incredible. Look, man, if you go just by high school rankings, right, the top 25 to 30 players in the country are 5 stars. Well, if we want to do that with portal and extrapolate it, well, Florida State's landed 3 5-star players, a defensive tackle, a tight end, and an offensive lineman. And I think the defensive tackle, this guy, might be the most important of all.
Yeah, again, because considering what you're losing, which is 2 stalwarts, and we saw, Corey, what the Florida State front 4 looked like without Fabian Lovett, without Robert Cooper at 100% for most of the season, and it was a big difference, huge difference. And those guys that are younger on the depth chart, Florida State they want Daniel Lyons to get up to speed and be ready to go for a game there. Bishop Thomas or Ayobami Tafasi, who impressed, even though he was taking an academic shirt this past fall. Those guys don't feel the pressure now. So their development isn't stunted by too much too soon. So as it pertains specifically to the defensive interior, Florida State now is allowing the guys that they brought in from the high school ranks to mature the normal way, the way they're supposed to mature. And then they also get plug-and-play guys that are ready to go and rotate. Because, Corey, now that they've got this all settled, it's pass rusher, it's maybe Jared Verse returning back or not, and then maybe 1 or 2 more safeties, and then they should be okay on defense in terms of looking at the 2 deep heading into 2023.
Yeah, it's funny. I was looking at the On3 portal rankings, team rankings, and I'm like, oh, Florida State must have flown up the charts with this one. And no, they're like 6th right now, 6th or 7th. And it's because all the other teams in front of them have gotten so many more players. But when you look at the average ranking of these players, it is through the roof. Like Colorado, I think, is 2nd right now in the team portal. And this is how rankings work in general. They're 2nd right now in the portal rankings, but their average player is like a 60. Florida State's average player is an 83. And it is by far and away the best average of any team that's in the portal, at least in the top 10. So, yeah, when you look at what the holes they've had to fill, and we knew they needed a couple offensive linemen. We thought they did anyway. Tight end, I mean, you couldn't have done better in the tight end. And this guy, people might look at Western Michigan and think, oh, okay, well, he's a Western Michigan guy. How good is he really? Well, how good was the Albany transfer? And Albany's a lesser school than Western Michigan. This kid, as a defensive tackle, had 12 tackles for loss and 6 sacks. You don't usually get that kind of production from a defensive tackle. He probably won't have that kind of production here, but he could be a wrecker. He could be an offense wrecker, which is what Fabian Lovett is when he's healthy. He could be, we don't know, if he's a Fabian Lovett clone, if he's as good as that, well, then you've just hit a home run. Because Fabian Lovett was a supreme difference maker for this team when he was healthy.
Well, that's the thing I love about the transfer portal, at least as the rules are currently constructed. That film is so much more reliable for evaluations from this coaching staff. And we trust this coaching staff in general. They do a pretty good job of finding diamonds in the rough in the high school ranks. And then when they bring in a kid from Albany or they bring in a kid from a school that you haven't heard of before, you think there's going to be a good chance that they know what the hell they're evaluating and what they're going to develop when they get to Florida State. So that's the thing about the portal. If the rules don't change, you love where Florida State is because they seem to get an early jump on these players as well. So for Florida State right now, they're still in the running for one of the top 2 players in the transfer portal, and that's Fentrell Cypress. If they land that guy, Corey, then they're going to have the 5-star of 5-star class, and you just got to say, happy freaking New Year, Noles.
I mean, that would be a great addition, but this one's a big one, man. Like I think this one's, no offense to the cornerbacks of the world. I know people love cornerbacks, but it all starts up front. I think this is as big as landing the Cypress kid. I think the young defensive linemen, the young defensive tackles could be good, like Daniel Lyons. He has really flashed. With 8 months from now, he might be a real player. Same thing with I can never pronounce the kid's name. I apologize.
Ayobami Tafasi. I got you.
My man Tafasi. There's a chance he could be something too, but they're young. This kid is not young. He comes in ready-made, ready to play right away, and he will be a starter on opening night against LSU. Health permitted, he's going to be a starter, just like at least 2 of the guys they've already gotten in the portal. And Tom, they have a pretty good team coming back. So you are just adding pieces to a team that should be top 10-ish when the season starts. You're adding pieces that are going to be huge down the road. They're going to be huge in 8 months. This is a 300-pound wrecking ball of a kid that might have an NFL future, probably does have an NFL future, and you just got him, December 26th. Merry Christmas.
There it is. Happy Boxing Day, everybody. You got
exactly right. Celebrate responsibly, everyone.
So between Fiske and Darrell Jackson from Miami, Florida State has fortified the ranks of defensive tackle. Josh Farmer figures to get a bunch of reps.
And we don't know yet if Fabian's coming back or not.
Yep.
That hasn't at least been announced. And imagine if he comes back now, all of a sudden you're going to be better up front than you were last year by maybe a substantial margin.
Yeah, that rotation of a top 4 would be insane. And just for the folks who are watching, as we release this on warchant.com or Warchant TV on December 26th, this was not related to that. Sometimes you can see Florida State take a guy from the portal and you realize, oh, clearly they must know something's up, that there's a departure. They would have gone after Fiske no matter what. So that decision has yet to be made. This should be an interesting week or two for Florida State to get some big-time answers from Fabian Lovett, Jared Verse, Jamie Robinson, Akeem Dent, and maybe some other guys. But regardless of that, Florida State has fortified the ranks at defensive tackle. So, Corey, you're on the road right now. In about 10, 15 minutes, you're heading down to Orlando, right?
In about 10 or 15 seconds, I'm hopping in the car and driving to Orlando, buddy. Sunny Orlando, 45-degree Orlando.
There you go. It'll be around 75 or 80 degrees by the end of the week. I just know it. And you know what to do when you want to tune into the best Florida State sports coverage. It's go to Warchant TV, hit subscribe, hit the like button underneath, and join warchant.com for $10 through August 31st of next year. It's worth $10 this week, folks. So head over to Warchant.
Yeah, it's worth $10 a day. It's worth $10 a day. You get it for come on now. Come on. Just come on and do it. Subscribe.
Come on and do it. That's the man. That's what he says. We're going to put a shirt together that says, come on and do it. Corey Clark, 2022.
Absolutely.
He's Corey. I'm Tom. This is Warchant TV. We'll catch you on the next video. There'll be breaking news in 15 minutes. We'll see you then.